Greetings, true believers. It is I, Matt Hall, here with another Hidden Machine update. Now, I haven't done an update video in a minute. I can't even remember when the last one was or what has happened since. I've had incredible brain fog, I guess is the good way to put it, in recent times. And a lot of that is because I did get very sick for like a really long time. At least a long time for me, you know. I got the big, that virus that caused the global pandemic. I came down with a bout of that, about it. And then immediately after, I got some kind of flu. And, right before all this, I also got very sick. Like, I suddenly had my body temperature just drop down to like 93 degrees. And I was checking my temperature is normally around 97 or 98 at most. And it was just like dropping a full degree, and then I'd wait like 3 minutes and drop again and drop again. I felt like there was like an ice pack like on like the center of my spine, like right at the base of my neck. And I felt so cold, and I was like losing control of my limbs, and I was having a panic attack. So it was very hard to tell. Come here. Come on. Man, I was thinking about jumping up here. There's room. Come on. Don't be shy. You're usually not. Come here, little one. So, I go to the hospital. I go to the ER, and maybe I've told this story, so forgive me if I have. But at the hospital, they were like, "Were you drinking ice water before you put the thermometer in your mouth?" I understand. You have to, when you work with the public, you got to treat everyone like they're the dumbest person you've ever met, apparently. And then they're like, "Oh, well, you're using an electric thermometer. It probably just needs new batteries." And I was like, No, my wife tested the thermometer as well. We're sure it works just fine. I'm also having all these other symptoms related to extremely low body temperature coming on very rapidly. It was very scary. And the whole episode lasted maybe 35, 40 minutes before my body temperature started to rise back up to normal. Now, while I was at the hospital, there was a guy there with a crazy hand injury, and there was other people there, and they were saying that some of the more, grievously injured people had been waiting 5 or 6 hours at that point. This was maybe 10:30 at night. I don't stay up very late anymore. I like going to bed before midnight, ideally going to bed around 10:30. So it got to be an hour or more in there, and I go, they're not going to see me. They took my vitals, and they told me to go to the waiting room, had me fill out some paperwork. So I just decided to go home and go to bed. And then shortly afterward, I tested positive for COVID. So that was that. This is a hot topic right now, so I'm not trying to get too into the hot topic, but I've had some other health issues in the past, and I've just come to find that a lot of doctors, even a lot of people who work in healthcare, are some of the most unhealthy people I've ever met. Everyone there is, no offense, I'm overweight, but everyone is overweight. They're pounding like Mountain Dew and, eating candy bars all the time. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe this is just me being a terrible person, but sometimes I want the health professionals I see to be a reflection of ideal health. And the fact that they often are not makes me feel like the whole thing is a big scam, And this is super complicated because there are so many people who they do everything right and they are still very overweight. And I know all bodies are different. Metabolism is different for everybody. Even just access to healthy food or the time to exercise is not equally distributed. So, I mean, I'm not trying to get on fat people or anything in particular, but it's just like, should they even, even the vending machine at the hospital was filled with nothing but unhealthy snacks and sodas. Like, can we at least, like, point this in the right direction a little bit? You know what I mean? It just kind of bugs me out. And, I have had a lot of health issues in the past that when I've seen doctors, they didn't know what to say. I've had a handful of things for a long time. I had incredible pains in my stomach that were just so bad, and they last there for months. And then I have my diaries from, that time, and, just making little diagrams and showing like where the pain was and the severity of it from day to day, what I was eating. Couldn't figure it out. And then one day it just went away. Also woke up one morning with a hole in the roof of my mouth that the dentists and the doctor at the dentist's office could not figure out. They all stood around and went, whoa, what is that? And I got a tooth removed that was nearby it. The tooth was not infected or anything, but the hole went away. It healed up. So, I mean, why did I suddenly drop to near hypothermia levels of body temperature and then couldn't figure out why? That's just how it goes. And I normally don't go to the doctor or go to hospitals. One, because the prices are insane. And two, I often just don't think that the people who are taking care of me know anything at all. They're rushing, they're not listening. And this is a very common sentiment of anyone who, has dealt with the American healthcare system. Not feeling heard, not feeling understood, not being taken seriously. It's a very frustrating thing. So anyway, I was very sick for, I don't know, like it felt like about over a month where I just couldn't catch a break. And I've been very tired and unable to focus very well. So it's been hard for me to work on any video stuff consistently. I have a bunch of projects that are kind of just like, I'm putting in a little bit of time once a week maybe, but it's not significant. And it's frustrating, but also, what are you going to do? Life is full of uppus and downus, a great man once said, who is me. So that's kind of like the gist of where I'm at with the channel is I've got a lot of stuff I'm working on, stuff that I'm proud of and excited to share, but it's going slow because I hit a roadblock and I am just kind of trying to get back in the mode, of feeling alive for the very first time. POD. Speaking of POD, I've been listening to a lot of music lately. I joined a website that's kind of like Letterboxd for music. It's called Music Board, and I'm not putting any albums I've listened to in the past on there, but I've started to keep track of my listening habits on here and listening to a lot of albums for the first time that I've never heard before. Mostly mainstream, major label rock stuff, big names. Pantera, Metallica, Weezer, Nirvana, Foo Fighters, rock bands, t-shirt bands that you'd see at probably a Hot Topic. Stuff that, I was a huge Weezer fan, but by the time Make Believe came out, I was kind of like, oh, okay. I remember, as this is not a unique story by any means, but I just remember being so stoked on seeing the Buddy Holly video with Windows 95. I think it was Windows 95. And from that point on, I was like, who is that band? This song is so cool. And when I had heard the Blue album, but when they put together the Green album, it was like, whoa, that band that I liked from 6 years ago, from my childhood. I'm a little teenage boy now. They're putting out a new album. And, Hash Pipe was a great song for me to find at that time. Island in the Sun was dorky, but also fun, I guess. I never really liked that song very much. And, Maladroit. By the time Maladroit was coming out, I was on the website every day. They were leaking demos and new tracks. I'd be on the message boards. I'd be chatting with all the people and, watching for Carl's updates. It was a really exciting time to be a fan of that band. And then I, like many people, kind of went, okay, well, I didn't like Make Believe. I didn't like the Rat album. I didn't like Gratitude. I didn't like Hurley. And it got to the point where I stopped even trying to listen to these records. I'd hear the single and go, not for me. I've got too many other things to do. I don't need to spend time or money on this album. But now that people have decided that all music is worth nothing and you can just listen to anything at any time without paying the artist more than a fraction of a cent, I've gone back and started listening to a lot of these Weezer albums that I missed out on. And I wasn't missing much. Van Weezer is the most recent one I've heard, and I thought that was pretty good sometimes. It's so hard. What I like about music and how I identify with music changes maybe from day to day even. So what I think might be good or might totally suck, it's hard to have any sort of consistent metric on that, Minnow, what are you doing, baby? There's some kind of fuzz on the ground. She's trying to eat it. You love eating anything you find on the ground. She's a little scavenger queen. So, even though I haven't had much time to work on videos, I have been working on video games. I have been working on my point-and-click adventure game, which for a while I wasn't doing point-and-click. I was doing a whole different kind of thing. And then as soon as I started actually getting deeper, I go, oh no, it is point-and-click. But I'm going to avoid a lot of what I don't like about point-and-click adventure games. I think it's a great medium for telling stories, but I get so frustrated when I'm playing an adventure game and it's like, oh, I needed to use the wrench on the water bucket? Okay. I'm not going to have anything like that. There will be no baffling puzzles where you have to use, just where you just need to throw logic out the window. There will be none of that. And I also don't like, context sensitive commands like look at, open, hold, pick up, take, give. I'm trying to boil it down to one, possibly two commands at most. Ideally, everything will be one command. You click on it and you use it. Also, things like if there's a key that you pick up and then you go to that locked door, you will just have to click on the door and it will open because you have the key in your inventory. You will not have to go into the inventory, get the key out, equip it, use it on the door. The kind of stuff that I think when I'm playing older adventure games, I don't always mind. But every now and then, it's just like, wow, I'm so wrapped up in this story. I'm loving it. I'm loving the mysteries and the puzzle solving. And then there's just a sort of archaic interface with all these extra steps. And it's just not the pace that I'm trying to move at in the game, I'm trying to make the depth and the complexity be present more in the world building, the attention to detail and the environments, the narrative, and not have it be complex gameplay. The gameplay itself will be clicking on the thing, thinking about the thing, finding the next place to look at and go to and do the thing. I don't want a bunch of stuff where you would be lost due to I don't know how to put it. Just due to some crazy adventure game stuff that only adventure games ever seem to pull off, just where they do some insane thing. I have a sheet draped over the couch in here, and Minnow just discovered it, so she's under the sheet scaling the couch. Very cute. Maybe I can show you. Oh, so I'm working on 2 games. I'm working on a game with Jordan as well, which was inspired by Legacy of Epstein, Foul Dreamer, The Adventures of Julio Epstein, no relation. And it's just like a 3D collectathon kind of adventure game where you're just, it's first person, and you're trying to get into a building, but you need to buy a wrench to fix a steam pipe. And in order to get money for the wrench, you need to complete various tasks around the city. Some of it is just looking for cash, while others are completing small tasks for NPCs, like, find 5 of these posters and tear them down, or find 10 balloons and shoot them around the world. So, she just launched herself. I don't know if she realized that she was falling off the couch. So I was so into that game, and I thought it was so funny, and I couldn't help but say, I want to make something like this. And so last night before the Game Awards, Jordan came over. We talked about it. He's helping me write some of the jokes and gags. He'll also be doing a lot of the voice acting. So I'm excited to get that going. I don't want to show this stuff. I have notes on my game here that I thought I might show, but I just don't want to give anything away until it's closer to being done, which might be like a year from now, honestly. It's moving pretty slow, just because I don't have a lot of time to work on it all the time. This is like my to-do list. This is like all the like sort of ongoing projects I have that I'm trying to kind of like, you know, close up and just like clear up all my little loose ends. That's been a big part of my life in the last like year or two. Is just like, I want to transition to being a new person. No, that's not a place you should be jumping. What the fuck? I can't believe you made it. There's no room for you there, dear. She's realizing she's on a little table I have here that has like maybe a collective 3 inches of space on it where she could land. I just want to be someone else creatively. Sometimes, like, you know where you're headed in your art or your aspirations, and you just know you're not there yet. And I have some things, some obligations that are kind of blocking my path to doing the next thing I really want to put a lot of my time and focus into. I think I've talked about that in other videos as well, but I've just been trying to stay true to that path and, you know, finish up things with my, you know, diligence, because I also have committed to some of these projects with other people, and I don't want to, you know, bail on them, even if they would bail on me. I don't think they would, though. So I'm trying to just stay true to that, but, you know, the thing I really want to be doing is making games. And still doing Hidden Machine videos and stuff, but I really want to just like put as much time as I can into making games. I still have some musical projects I'm trying to wrap up that I've started with other people, like some albums that we've recorded that we just want to finish and release. I don't think there'll be any real fanfare for those or anything, but I like making that stuff and listening to it and sharing it with a small group of people. So, yeah, I could get into all the specifics of that, but they're just almost done, most of them. They're in the final stages, and once they are done, I'll mention them in a little video. Also, the next episode of Yeah, I've Played is going to be Killer 7, which I've been editing for a long time now, just haven't had the time or mental capacity to edit. And then also, coming up next is, by special request, is Dead Space, but we just have not gotten into it yet. It's been very hard to find the time to make that project happen, unfortunately, and I apologize, you know, for not getting it done sooner, because it is a Patreon request. That's the bulk of what's going on right now. I'm just kind of like, I can almost feel like a cloud in my head keeping me from being as focused or diligent as I would like to be. I'm trying to do little things here and there to make myself feel good and vital. Hi, baby. Minnow needs attention, so come here. She sneezed on me earlier. It was gross. It was the littlest sneeze. It was, and it felt like one little droplet of cat spit got on me. You hear her? Anyway. I'm checking my notes real quick. I got really sick. I'm taking a mushroom complex. Oh yeah, I used to take one of the Stamets, like mushroom like host defense mushroom complexes. I have like immune system issues. I get sick very easily, and when I was taking that regularly a few years ago, it really helped. And I just got back on it after I couldn't find it at a local health food store for a long time. So I started ordering online, which I hate doing, but I just have to accept that it's the way of the world. And I got asked to do a Mountain Goats cover for some kind of queer youth center. I didn't look too closely into what it's for. Maybe I should right now. It's for ACS Health Group in Syracuse. It's an LGBT youth organization. ACS Health Group. Well, anyways, I got asked to do a Mountain Goats cover for a fundraiser for them. I'd like to know more about what they do, but I don't know. I mean, helping kids, especially kids who feel like outcasts, I don't know. How could I be against that? So I'm doing a song called Tampa, which is one of my favorite Mountain Goats songs that was never properly recorded. He played it live a few times in the late 90s. It was one of the early songs that was supposed to be on Coroner's Gambit, but it never made the cut. There was a second version of the Coroner's Gambit, the album, that he recorded with a band, and it never came out. But I think a version of the title track with the drums came out, that you can hear that. But I'd love to hear, maybe on one of these anniversaries, they'll release it. But I'd love to hear the abandoned version of Coroner's Gambit. Of course, if John said it wasn't very good, then maybe it wasn't very good. But he said it didn't work, so they didn't keep it. And I'll play a little clip of that right now. And I also got the masters back recently for the Austin and the In-Laws LP that we were raising money for. I still need Austin to kind of give me his notes so we can approve the masters, but we're pretty much ready to send it off to the pressing plant, which is super exciting. I love the way she just hangs on me. Checking my notes. The games, yeah. Here's a little like prototype footage of the point and click game. This is not anything that's going to actually be in the game except for the phone, but even that's going to change a little bit. But this is just kind of testing the systems to make sure I have what I need to get the basics started. I need to brush her. She's shedding so bad right now. Baby, you need a brushing. Oh God. Yeah, okay. We gotta go brush you. Ooh, it's the winter coat. What are you gonna do? Well, you're gonna brush her. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm sorry if this is a little scatterbrained. I'm just so fucking out of it lately. But I wanted to give a little update to everyone. Thank you for supporting the channel and continuing to believe in the Hidden Machine dream. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about what we have in the works in terms of videos, because I don't know when I'll be able to deliver. But I do have some stuff in the works I think some people are going to really appreciate. And that's all I'll say. All right, I'm going to turn the camera off now. Bye.